Hi, my name is Hannah Martin. I'm a senior in the College of Arts and Sciences studying political science and English, and I was part of the 2024 Enlight Fellowship cohort. My exposure to entrepreneurship before the Enlight program was super limited. I honestly didn't know much about it at all. The first day of the program, I was definitely feeling really nervous. I didn't know anyone in the cohort, and again, I didn't have much involvement with Innovate at all. Everyone kind of came in and was like, hey, no one knew each other, but by the end of the day, we all had lunch together, and it was such a welcoming environment. The cohort is really small too. There was only 8 or 9 of us, I think. So everyone got to know each other super quickly, and it was just a really comfortable environment. I think one misconception about entrepreneurship and innovation is that it's exclusive, I guess. I think for me, coming into a new sphere obviously is daunting, but also just one that seems like it has a lot of jargon and a lot of networking that I haven't been a part of yet, in my entering the race too late. I think that's false. I think you can join at any time, and you also don't need to have any prior experience to start. I think that's the whole point of starting an innovation, is that you're at the beginning. I think I definitely had a more shallow view of just business and entrepreneurship beforehand. I didn't have the knowledge to realize how multifaceted it was and how innovation and entrepreneurship can do good and have that social impact. And I think Katie was super helpful in introducing that concept to us and recognizing that although companies or organizations or businesses can have a financial component to it, or wanting to promote growth within the company, it can also have another goal of just promoting growth within the world and the community. So I think that was super helpful and honestly changed the trajectory of my career path. So when I came into Enlight, I'm a pre-law student, and I knew I wanted to go to law school probably, but it was kind of vague which areas of law I wanted to focus in. And after going through the Enlight program and just being more involved with Innovate and seeing all these startups and ventures that students are creating, I've decided to go into intellectual property law. So I really want to work with smaller businesses and just startups, and just helping from the legal perspective, and just continuing to be involved in innovation, which was something that I wasn't really considering before Enlight. Okay, so one moment that stuck out to me in the program was when we did an activity where basically there was a piece of paper, and then everyone checked off adjectives that described themselves, and you passed it around, and then everyone else checked off adjectives that described you. And the whole motivation and reasoning behind it was there's 3 parts to you, ones that you, characteristics that you acknowledge, characteristics that other people acknowledge, and then characteristics that no one's really recognizing. And I think coming into Innovate, having no prior experience with entrepreneurship or innovation, I had sort of an imposter syndrome, where it's I had no idea what I was doing in this space, and what could I really give if I didn't know anything. But I think that just kind of raised my confidence a little bit, based on how I saw myself versus how other people see you, and also just different skills and assets that you can bring to the table that you're not even aware of, or assets and skills that you're bringing to the table, but how it can be switched and can be super helpful in spheres that you're not comfortable with or super knowledgeable about, innovation. The funding of Enlight was amazing. If I didn't have the funding, I wouldn't have been able to afford to stay in Boston that summer, because living prices in Boston are insane. In Enlight, I was placed with Action for Boston Community Development in the Housing and Homelessness Prevention Department, which was amazing. I could not recommend being involved with them enough. They have a ton of volunteer opportunities as well. I was able to work in the mobile homeless outreach team, where we were working within the unhoused communities and really on the ground work, which I definitely really appreciated. It also kind of sparked interest in my senior thesis, which was on homeless encampment sweeps in Boston and Los Angeles, and they were super helpful with that as well when I reached out later. I absolutely loved my experience with ABCD, and I'm still in contact with them now, and I plan on helping volunteering in other aspects in different departments, because the whole organization is just an anti-poverty organization, so they have food pantries, education, housing, so tons of opportunities to get involved.